Look, I really, really, really want to pick Golden State to win the finals. However, I'm terrified of doing that because of what happened to the Brooklyn Nets. Let's get into it. Hi guys, I'm Gravy here, and this is I'm Just Saying. In this episode of I'm Just Saying, first of all, I'm happy to be back. Had a hectic month, but we're getting back to it. Dropping these videos every week, and then also want to get your replies, your comments below, so I can go ahead and react to those in the YouTube shorts. However, anyway, I'm just gonna hop right into it. I'm only gonna do the fight me segment because basically what I'm trying to do is I'm fighting myself. I don't know who I'm going to pick in terms of who's going to win the finals. I keep looking down because I have all my information here, right? Like I've updated. I've moved forward to doing all my notes on my phone instead of on a piece of paper. But I genuinely don't know who I'm going to pick. And so I'm going to talk through the process right here, and give the pros and the cons. I have no real vested interest. I am a Lakers fan, but I don't hate the Celtics the way I guess most Laker fans do, because one of my best friends, Felix, shout out Felix, he's a Celtics fan. And so we just kind of butt heads, but in a fun way. We actually kind of encourage each other's teams because we're both fans, whatever. But I can't cheer for the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate them, but I'm damn sure not going to cheer for them. But at the same time, I'm conflicted about picking the Warriors simply because of what the Celtics did to the Nets. Now, as I'm like talking around all this stuff, I'm just gonna hop into it. First of all, the reason why the Nets have me hesitant to pick the Warriors is because I picked the Nets in 7 games in the first round. The reason I picked the Nets was because I was thinking Kevin Durant damn near beat the Bucks last year by himself. If he wore the right size shoes, his foot would not have been on that 3 point line, and he would have made that basket, and who knows what would have happened from there. So my thought process was if they have Kyrie and Kevin Durant, then they should be able to get by the Celtics. What I underestimated was how good the Celtics defense was and how much Jason Tatum would be able to basically not lock down, but lock up Kevin Durant. And in fact, it wasn't even just a Jason Tatum thing. It was a team defense thing. Like, as a team, this is one of the best defenses. And so they were able to stifle the Nets offense, which honestly, I don't know if that was more them or the Nets just being like, hey, your turn, Kyrie. Hey, your turn, Kevin Durant. And then, it's easy to stop somebody when you're just doing ISO like that, or easier, I should say. So I don't know if that, okay, I know that result is why I'm so hesitant to pick the Warriors now, because I'm usually the defense guy. Like, I like defenses. Don't ask me why, but I do. And so I should have leaned towards the defensive side, but I went with the offensive side. And now here we have offense versus defense, true team offense versus a true team defense. And it's always that adage of offense wins you games, but defense wins you championships, which is kind of true. But I mean, it depends on what that offense looks like, because that offense that we're talking about is Steph Curry and Jordan Poole, who suddenly decided he wanted to be like, yo, I'm the triplet in the Splash Brothers. Klay Thompson is starting to look like himself again. I mean, and then Andrew Wiggins is your fourth best option, and he can get buckets when he wants to get buckets, like if he has the opportunity. So, like, I don't know. I genuinely do not know who to pick, if I'm going to lean towards the Celtics defense or lean towards the Warriors offense. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to go down the list of all the notes that I've made. One, you have Curry, Thompson, you have Wiggins, and you have Poole, right? Those are some offensive, Curry and Thompson. Thompson is one of those players that can, go from, oh, I've missed 7 shots to, I made 60 points in a quarter. Like, he is absolutely one of those guys who can just get nuclear hot in the middle of a game. If it gets to a game 6, everybody knows that the Warriors are going to win that game 6 just because of game 6 Clay. So that, all from an offensive standpoint, they are incredible. However, from a defensive standpoint, the Celtics match up pretty well with them on the perimeter. You have Marcus Smart, who's probably going to be assigned to Curry. Now, here's the problem with Marcus Smart. He has a bum ankle right now, right? It's an ankle. He's injured. He's not 100%. And you need to be 100% if you're going to be chasing around Steph Curry. They're probably going to use some team concepts and switch. However, you're going to have to be really on your game if you're going to switch. And honestly, if you're going to follow, you have to too, because Curry and Thompson, for that matter, all they need is a window this big to take a shot. You have Thompson, and from Thompson and Poole, you have Tatum and Brown. Tatum stepped up his defensive game, and he's a legit, like really, really good defender. And Brown is also a legit, really, really, really good defender. So, I mean, Thompson could get hot, Poole could get hot, but I don't know that Tatum and Brown, if they play the good team positional defense with those two athletic wings covering Poole and Thompson, I don't know that Thompson and Poole are going to be able to get off like they would if they were facing, well, the Mavericks defense, for example. Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not even trying to be funny. I genuinely don't know. Then you have Wiggins as the last scoring option. And there, I mean, you have Grant Williams and Al Horford. Al Horford's a good positional defensive player. He's in the right places at the right time. You have Grant Williams, who is relatively athletic, but he's just a big body who can get in the way. So, like, are they going to be able to keep up with Wiggins? Are they going to be able to control all of these scoring options? Robert Williams is injured, and he will not be playing in game 1 tonight. So that is a big factor just to keep them out of the paint, because quiet as it's kept, the way that the offense works for the Warriors is they spread everybody out. And if there's like 3 players on the perimeter, then you have a whole lot of open lane space for like a Looney to just get an easy basket, or for Curry, who's actually pretty underrated at finishing around the basket, to just take it to the hole. Jordan Poole, just take it to the hole. So like, if Robert Williams isn't there, you have Al Horford and Grant Williams. They'll be running their small lineup probably more often than not. And you have Al Horford, who can jump in the way and be in the right position at the right time. However, because of how the Warriors play offense, the ball snaps around and finds this energy. It's not going to be this ISO, you do it, dribble, 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 and then maybe kick it out. It literally just pops from person to person to person, and that is absolutely devastating for a defense if they're playing very, very well and they're doing everything they need to do as a defense, and you still end up with Jordan Poole with an open 3. You know what I mean? Like that's how their offense frustrates you. Not to mention, one of the truest things in the world is third quarter Warriors. Like, something after halftime, whenever they do their adjustments, they come out in the third quarter, they just start blowing people out of the water. So flip it on the other side. You take the Celtics offense versus the Warriors defense. The Warriors defense is a large part of like counting on turnovers. They're a good defensive team, not as good as the Celtics, but still up there. But they like to play off turnovers. And the Celtics, especially like in the last, let me go ahead and go here real quick because I have the stats and everything up here. So looking at, I was just trying to get a quick view, but I'm not going to go through all this stuff looking for it. They had, so I think Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown had like 7 turnovers in the last game of the game before. Jason Tatum wasn't doing too much better. And it's so funny because it seems like Jaylen Brown, at one point, he'll just go off and just get to the rack, and it's amazing. And then at another point, he'll just forget how to dribble. And the ball is just going in the opposite direction. Jason Tatum had 2 plays against the Heat where they were back-to-back, just lazy passes, and Jimmy Butler jumped into the passing lane and took it to the rack. So if they're going to turn the ball over, unlike Miami, well, and Miami did do a good job of taking advantage of it, but not as much as Golden State Warriors would. If you get the Golden State Warriors out in like a transition or semi-transition situation multiple times, like turning the ball over that many times, you are not going to make it, period. So that, and they turn the ball over. You'll probably have Curry on Smart, because if Smart is smart, he'll try to body him up or whatever, but Curry's probably going to sit on Smart. Then who are you going to put on Tatum, and then who are you going to put on Brown? I guess Wiggins covers Tatum. Brown is covered by Thompson, maybe. And then you have Draymond Green down there directing traffic for Looney so they can take care of Grant Williams and Al Horford. But at that point, I'm worried. I'm worried for the Celtics offense because they have way too many turnovers, and you cannot turn the ball over against the Warriors. They're going to take advantage of it. I think I'm already talking myself into what I'm going to do. Now, in terms of X factors, for the Celtics, it's going to be Marcus Smart. The reason why is that if he is in any way hampered and it slows him down against Curry, and they have the best record against the Warriors since Curry got there, the Celtics do. if he's hampered in any way and he can't keep up with Steph, that's going to really diminish their offense or their defense, I should say. And if Steph is able to like just get a couple shots off and then stretch out their defense and open up those lanes for everybody else, like it's a problem. And he's injured. Not, he's an injured player right now. And outside of Marcus Smart, I mean Thompson can keep up. Not Thompson. Tatum can keep up with him. Brown can keep up with him. But you're already stretching your defense thin. Oh, and then the X factor on the Warriors side is going to be Klay Thompson, because Klay Thompson only recently, like he's been doing okay in the playoffs, but only in the last like 3 or 4 games has he started looking like any semblance of Klay Thompson. Now, from a defensive perspective, he does not have that explosion that he used to. He's not a bad defender now, but he's definitely not what he was before. But if Klay can have a Game 5 against the Mavericks performance, if Klay can have his Game 6 type of performance, if he can be there and be counted on to get like 22, 25 points, that's a problem. That's a problem when you have Poole sitting there ready to give you buckets, when you have Curry who's going to get his buckets. Looney has been a monster on rebounds and putbacks and things like that. And on top of it, quiet as it's kept. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. Klay Thompson is not the X factor. It's Kevon Looney. The reason I say Kevon Looney is the X factor is that I think I'm going to go back down to the injury report real quick, because I think Robert Williams is out with the knee. He's day to day. So he may play, he may not. And if you saw him in the last game against Miami, he was incredibly frustrated because I think he was in pain. Like he was injured, not able to move the way he wanted to move, and he was not able to play the way he wanted to play, which led to a whole bunch of frustration. So if Looney is there just getting rebounds, if he pulls down 20 rebounds and just kicks it back out, that is a huge deal for the Warriors. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you have Al Horford and Grant Williams there. Yeah, Al Horford and Grant Williams are big. They're not tall, right? So Looney should be able to own the paint during those matchups in terms of getting rebounds. I'm not asking for him to like score 45 points. If he gets 10 points and 15 rebounds, like that's something serious. So, and then on down the line a little bit. All right. This is going to go into something else. Curry over Durant. And to me, that's easy. I love Kevin Durant as a player. Absolutely love him as a player. I love Curry as a player too, just to be real. And there's been a lot of discussion about whether Curry's a top 10 player of all time, and I think he is. And it's one of those like Wilt Chamberlain arguments. When Wilt Chamberlain was around, they literally changed the rules of basketball so that he wouldn't be as dominant as he was. Steph Curry, if anybody has played pickup since Steph Curry became a thing, you understand how much he's changed the game, because of all the people who think they can jack up threes from 5 feet away from the 3-point line and be like, oh, I missed it. When did you make that shot ever? Really, because if you could make that shot consistently, you would be in a league. I'm not saying the NBA, but you damn sure would be playing pickup with us right now outside. So, like, Steph Curry literally changed the way people see the game, play the game. I heard Kendrick Perkins say this, I think, before. He made it okay. The shot that he's taking now, if I had done that, when I was growing up playing basketball, they would have sat me down and never let me get on the floor again. But that's okay now. That's a totally okay play. So for that alone, he's changed the game. On top of just resume-wise, Steph had a ring before Durant got there. Steph but Steph is in the finals now since Durant left. Before Durant was there, he was with Westbrook. Fair enough, but he was not able to take them to a championship. And then since he's left, injuries do play a big role, and having a running mate like Kyrie, who had the issue with COVID and everything else, not giving any stances on that whatsoever right now. That's for a different episode. But given the situation that he was in, I can understand why he didn't get back. He almost beat the Bucks by himself. But the environment that he was in Golden State, where Curry was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's my team, but I'll step back and you can take the finals MVPs. I don't care. I'll rack up these rings. Like, there's a reason why it's working so well in Golden State. It's not about one person. And when a lot of people try to give that credit to Steph, my thought process is you got to also give it to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. And I don't even like Draymond Green. I don't like Draymond Green as a player. Like when he's on the court, he frustrates me. He complains about every single foul call. He could punch a dude in the face and then be like, "What? That wasn't a foul." Like, whatever. Um, but they are responsible for this system working so well because it's all about just getting the win. Who gives a damn who gets 30 this day? Steph was literally on the bench for the first round of the playoffs. We can't get Westbrook to run off the bench during the regular season. And I'm a Lakers fan in case you didn't know. So, like, the idea that this team is back here again is in large part due to how selfless everyone on that team is, allowing the younger guys to come in and grow, give them their chance, let Poole show out, let Kuminga, develop for, next season, the season after. It's not all about me, it's all about us getting these rings right now. Like, so, to me, given like everything that Curry has done for the game of basketball, for the positive or the negative, however you want to say it, he's changed the game. Like Joker voice, he's changed things. Like, I would have to say that he is in the top 10 players of all time, and Durant isn't at this point to me. Honestly, he had 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs. He has a regular season MVP, but he never did the Finals MVP or reach the Finals without being on Steph Curry's team. Steph Curry's reached the Finals without him twice. All right, so I mean, like Durant. I wrote this down. Durant needs a system. And this is the thing. ISO player, yeah, he is one of the best ISO players in the history of the game. However, he was most successful in the system at Golden State, where there's that one picture of where Thompson, Curry, and Kevin Durant are all open, all on the, I want to say, the right wing, all going around on the three-point line, and each of them are pointing to the other, saying like, he's open, he's open, he's open. That's how basketball should work. Is everybody pointing to the other guy like, oh, you get the points, you get the point. It doesn't matter who gets the points. Who has the most points at the end is what really matters. And when he was in that system, it worked beautifully. Now you go from that system. Before you were in the ISO, okay, Westbrook, then Durant, okay, Westbrook, then Durant. Then you go back to that system with Kyrie, and it's not working. Plus, I think Westbrook got a little bit too much heat for how it was going in Oklahoma City anyway. Like, Kevin Durant was still winning scoring titles. He didn't need to have the ball any more than he already had it. But given all that, saying all that, that is why I would put Curry over Durant in terms of best players of all time. Yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to say. And so now it is a decision of who's gonna win. I think game 1 tonight goes to Golden State. I'm going to say they win. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily close. Part of that is because it's the first time for any of the Celtics to be in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. And the only one with like any kind of championship experience. And before I say this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could be 100% wrong, but I'm trying to look at their roster right now to see if I'm missing like a bench guy or something who was on the who's on the Celtics, but the only person with anything like resembling championship experience is Al Horford. He won 2 national titles in college, which I'm not poo-pooing that, but that's not the same as playing in the NBA Finals. So when you have that situation of where it's such a young team, and I mean young, their experience, and they've been through a couple of battles already, but when you have such a young team that is, come on now, I'm trying to get to the roster real quick because I want to be sure I'm not wrong about that. When you have such a young roster, and it's such an inexperienced roster, like they are the definition of an inexperienced roster. And Golden State is the definition of the opposite. They stay in the finals, always in the finals. The only team that was in the finals more is LeBron James over the course of the last 10 years. And so, or 10, 15 years. So you have they're diametrically opposed. So the Warriors already know what to expect when it comes here. So let me see. Oh, wow. I didn't realize these people were still on the team. Luke Cornett, I mean, he shortened his rotation, so yeah, of course. Yeah, but nobody else on here has championship experience, unless I'm just missing one. So, yeah, there's something to be said for how intense, how raucous, how the nerve, not necessarily fear, but it's anxiety. You're anxious. This is the finals. This is the biggest stage. Everybody from me when I was 5 to a current 5-year-old now to a 78-year-old. If you liked basketball, you've had fantasies of playing in the finals, and that has to be something that you like really worked on to accomplish. You finally get there, and you're anxious. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're anxious. So I think the Warriors, having already been there, that gives them the advantage in game 1. But what about the rest of the series? It starts off Golden State. I say Golden State takes 1 and 2. I think the Celtics come back and get 3 and 4. So I'm gonna say Warriors in 6, and I think they win Game 6 because Game 6 Clay shows up, and so they'll take it on Boston's floor. Sorry, Felix. Yeah. Ooh. That's so hard to say. That's so hard to say. That's so hard to say because I don't want to do the same mistake that I did with I don't want to do the same mistake that I did with the Nets. But this isn't like the Warriors do have a good defensive team. The Warriors do have a good big man on the inside. They're going to have the height, but they won't have the size. If they have to cover Celtics have to cover 4 offensive options. If they let anybody go off, then that kind of messes up their team defense. Yeah, all right. I'm going to say Warriors in 6. And Curry over Durant, easy. So, in any case, thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. Say what you want to say below so I can go ahead and react to those on the YouTube shorts. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.